Be a champion, be a champion, be a champion. Yeah, do it for your people, do it for your pride. How you ever gonna know if you never even try? Do it for your country, do it for your name. Cause there's gonna be a day when you're standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name. Cause you burn with the brightest flame. And the world's gonna know your name. And you'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame. I was scared of dentists and the dark. I was scared of pretty girls and starting conversations. Now all my friends are turning green. You're the magician's assistant in a dream. And they come unstuck, faded, running down to the riptide, taken away to the dark side. I wanna be your left-hand man. I love you when you're singing that song, yeah. I get a lump in my throat, cause you're gonna sing the words wrong. There's this movie that I think you like. This guy decides to quit his job and heads to New York City. This cowboy is running from himself, and she's been living on the highest shelf. And they come unstuck, lady, running down to the riptide, taken away to the dark side. I wanna be your left-hand man. I love you when you're singing that song, yeah. I get a lump in my throat, cause you're gonna sing the words wrong. Lady, running down to the riptide, taken away to the dark side. I wanna be your left-hand man. I love you when you're singing that song, yeah. I get a lump in my throat, cause you're gonna sing the words wrong, yeah. I get a lump in my throat, cause you're gonna sing the words wrong. Fuck you and your mom and your sister and your job and your broke ass car and the shit you call art. Fuck you and your friends that I'll never see again. Everybody but your dog, you can all fuck off. I swear I meant to mean the best when it ended. Even try to bite my tongue when you start shit. Now you're texting all my friends, asking questions they never even liked you.
Since I've gotten older, I've realized we all care about things that don't really matter. We're just told it does, and now we're all trying to keep our heads above the water. But what if we don't wanna? If there's something you wanna do, just do it. Don't let your head stop your heart from moving. If there's someone you wanna talk to him. Who knows who we'd be if we just live more and love more. We all just need to live more and love more. When we're not here anymore, it all comes down to who we were and what we stood for, not what we had and not where we lived. So when we're told it does, maybe then we'll see we don't just have to keep our heads above the water. Not if we don't wanna. If there's something you wanna do, just do it. Don't let your head stop your heart from moving. If there's someone you
So I think like so once again you're welcome. Yeah. So let's all right. So you know what? Let's get going into what we're discussing about. Um, that's too much sound. Sorry. Now I'll run you through the Cogito website. Very very important. So there you go, Cogito. All right, it's powered by Singularity Net, of course. That's IGS, right? It's gonna be top down. And yep, and this is Helge speaking, of course. IO, we're doing a technical analysis on CGV, which is the Cogito protocol token. All right, it's a native token for the Cogito platform. All right, and Cogito is a decentralized and AI-driven stable asset. Right, you may not understand how this operate, but because we'll walk you through this on the entire discussion, you will get to learn about what Cogito protocol is. It is very, very quite essential. So the future of artificial intelligence, and one important token it is that is onboarding the utility that AI has into the blockchain, right? So let's continue for the stable payment method, because which computer is actually sitting at the center of it. It's reality that this essentially onboards, right? Now, and then we're very to say, why would I have to stress? Today the fully diluted market cap each of CGV sits at 61 billion dollars, right? And of course, you can find it here. Market cap. You see it's right here. Yeah, right in the two right there. So now, I think it's also important for you to know that it is offering stablecoin as a service framework, which created a set of utility called tracer coins. All right, such that they act as complement without related to traditional currency wallets. Like think of USDT being USDT without having a USD supply. So it sounds crazy, but because that is something that computers really make it realistic, right? They are instead they are linked to financial, non-financial indices and represent human values. For example, Gcon will be pegged alright to a governmental benefits. Gcon is one example. Alright, Gcon is one important right example. Alright, wait, I hope so. All right, so I'm just basically saying that yes, these are the things that really makes Cogito quite different from every other token that you might have out there, right? Because it essentially differentiates, right? It essentially differentiates majority of this token from what we know them to be, right? I mean, when you're thinking of stable coins, right, you're thinking of coins that are directly backed by the United States dollars. But just think how about you have it's not actually dollars. I don't know how to say this now, but of course, being very quote unquote the final, excuse me, of the index of the dollar stability, right? I mean, and that's something that Cogito is really doing. It is actually making some necessary framework that allows stable coins not to be necessarily not to be directly linked, right, to the traditional currency or commodity, right? Instead, they're linked to what they call NFI, the non-financial indices, which represent human progress, right? In area of this particular tokens, right? Are you getting what I'm saying? So essentially, that's what CGV is all about, right? And it's a very very great project. So there's going to be making think of a project. All right, think of a project that is one that wanting to make stable coins, realistically stable coins without a right. And I think that really makes sense in my own opinion. If I were to make my own inference and own perspective of conclusion, right? That's the truth. So what do you think? Now let's just continue in this discussion, right? Because it's very, very important we just continue. Now I want you to go through CGV. We'll be doing analysis all together. And yes, I think Bitcoin is around this of 30,000. I don't know the price action of Bitcoin. Bitcoin will be checking that also when we continue. I think the statistics I have are I've not signed up right on a particular crypto exchange. And of course, if you have and you want to trade Cogito, you can click on my link below. You have the ref link right below. You click on it, you begin to have your full time experience in a seamless crypto exchange that's going to be making you have the best experience when it comes to buying and selling, right? That's of course, there are important things called demand supply, which for me, when it comes to technical analysis, I use important spec like liquidities, order block, and the market favor and gaps, right? That's very, very important. Now, basically, this is a 3 hour chart. I will change it over to a begin from the higher time frame. I'll use a week as the starting point of the higher time frame. And here you go, Cogito chart on Gate Ohio. Now, this was the price was listed. Just carefully follow me. I'll remove the volume, right, which is an important indicator, but I don't need it as of now. I'm removing this every necessary indicator and making the chart as blank as possible. Now, I'm picking my horizontal ray from the left and right, from the left bar. That's the horizontal ray, and I'm going to be pegging it right at the point where it was listed. Sorry, that's a double peak. Um, sorry, I'm not going to be having that multiple. Yeah, cross. Thank you. So here you go. That was the listing price of Cogito at somewhere around $0.02, right? Yeah, we're going to be bringing this guy down, and then so we can have consistency in the coloration or changes to this, right? I think we still have seamless, viewing, right? Cool. Now it was listed at 0.02, literally speaking, right? Somewhere around there. Yeah, $0.02 essentially. And of course, it's ranged to the highest point that I got into exactly there at basically $0.09394. Now, sorry. Now, I want you to think of something very, very important. From the listing price, which I'll be picking with my call out to carefully follow. This is my call out tone right, and it's a listing price, right? So that's what you have there, right? Listing price, and then I'm sorry, yeah, listing price. Let me just make the text borders to be yeah, and then the background. Sorry, the border could be red, and then the background could be white. So let's make it that way. And the text font should be black, right? So I think that's cool. Alright, so yeah, that's better. So this is the listing price at 0.02. Between the listing price and of course the all-time high, which I'll be writing inside the chart. Alright, so here here you go. Text, you're gonna write in all-time high. Alright, so the all-time high. Alright, you're so you're so surprised and you're so sincere saying that that's the all-time high, right? Now, because the token has so much utility, it has actually a tendency to do $8 because now we're getting ready for the bull market. If you're not aware, there's Q3 analysis, right? If you've not seen the analysis, go through my videos, right? To get a eye, you'll find a lot of them there, right? Where we talk about the market projection for Q3 and Q4. Cool. Now, that's the all-time high, and of course, Cogito is having this, necessary consolidation. There's something called fair volume gaps, and there's something called liquidity. Basically, this is a liquidity, playing around the zone here. I'll mark it out, of course, and I'll indicate it with the dollar symbol, and yeah, just follow me, please. It's important we do that, right? Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna be having that at the center and the middle, all right, and then yes, there you go. You can see the screen. Just carefully follow us there. Yeah, now it's making more sense, isn't it? Now, I had to put that because liquidity is, keeping the market ranging. Right? That's a ranging state in the market. But of course, we are still having the possibility for orders, right? I mean, buy orders, or to be sitting in the spot where we have this space. Those space or this space and the market is called fair volume gap. It's a gap that markets might eventually, take advantage of. I mean, come to mitigate. But of course, if the market on this particular pair, I mean, CGV USDT is bullish, you can be so sure that the market will not go below that spot, right? Because there's something on other block which the market actually take advantage of, right? And I want to show you some other block which I think I've already spotted on Cogito, and I think the market will actually come to mitigate, all right, or possibly react from. This is another block at 0.45531, right? And we have every reality sitting before us that the market will be turning to the upside in the coming days, right? Cogito has been having a sustained funny uptrend. Now, I call it funny because you might not see it as an uptrend, but of course, it is an uptrend because if you will merely be going through the candle wick and not to check the candle body, you might not be aware of the uptrend sitting there. So this is a high, that's a high, right? And of course, when you have an uptrend, you have an high and a low, a higher high and a higher low. And of course, it continues like that in the same format. Of course, this is our listing price, but it is still our low, right? Let's have it in mind that this is our low. And following this high, and then we sort of have this low, right? Let's call this a low because I mean, it wasn't that going to be all the low, but it's still low, right? Essentially, this is a low. I'm sorry, picking the line bar. All right, so yeah, that's there. Sorry, yeah. Yeah, so you have that as a low. I'm writing low inside that, right? Just follow as much as we can go would go. So that's a low, and then next thing you also have is another eye, right? This is another eye point on Cogito. So this eye point on Cogito really, is the highest. I mean, we can see Cogito trading into conveniently beyond the spikes of the listing time, right? So you on the right eye right there, and I'm just sorry, going to do that in a GV. Here you have this as our eye, our higher eye, or yeah, we call it HH of a number because of context. Second, a better view, I'm going to write it in full. So now the truth is for us to know where our low point is going to be. Essentially, we use what we call a Fibonacci retracement tool. It is one important tool that makes you to know exactly what we'll be retracing into in the coming days. And if we pick the the Fibonacci retracement tool from the bottom here, now and you draw it from this bottom right to this top, what you would find is that Cogito had actually is actually trading into the 50% golden pocket, right? There's something called the 50% golden pocket. It's a very strong zone in the market. When it gets into, it has no selling, but then to keep buying, and that's something very important. Now we're dropping the code in the market for you to. I want you to. It's a beautiful one that you can always get take advantage of, right? Come on, let's continue now. Here we go. We're saying that essentially, the market could retrace into two key zones in my yeah, just around the 50% golden pocket, which is close to the on time entry at 61.8. Now this 0.618 around the Fibonacci retracement is a very strong point market often gets to and retraces from. And the final, yeah, I would say the worst point market can ever get to is that point. Now, why am I going as far as showing as though Cogito token is going to be coming down? This is because definitely the market movement is always in ups and down, and whenever it retraces, it's only finding a reason for it to find to launch further and forward in the space, isn't it? Now, and that's something very important, right? Something very necessary for us to take advantage of when we're experiencing and expecting Cogito to take us to the highest point we're imagining. Now, I want you to take note of something very important. So, should I pick my polyline to here, all right, and then I come to show you, the possible steps to Cogito might take. You might take a step like that, right? But only to prepare for a new higher point, all right, which is going to be close to 0.1. We're going to be having something like 0.1 soon, right, on Cogito. Sorry. So I mean, I want you all to begin ready for to be ready for something like that, right? I mean, something like that. So we're going to be seeing Cogito doing a potential drawdown like that, only for us to continue its uptrend. Don't forget this so-called liquidity line I drew. When you extend it out, you might begin to have your understanding of the potential pattern that Cogito might begin to play out, right? If you draw this onward all along while keeping the cool of where it began the old journey, and now it is holding those points strongly, then you see that Cogito might not want to come below that particular line, as it will eventually be a trend line, a diagonal demand zone for Cogito. So now, in my opinion, if you're going to be asking me, David, where do you think Cogito might trade into, right, to becoming this? I'll tell you two key things, very important things. Number one, Cogito might trade right down to the spot, excuse me, at 0.0506, right? Now, Cogito might from that spot also go where where higher, right? Now, because we are in a sort of uptrend on the Cogito token, right? So I mean, the next point that is looking to realistic is this one here 0.093479, which was the previous high it got to. So essentially, we might be sitting at seeing the possibility of Cogito trading to 3%, 4%, about 10% downwards, and from that point, we might be see Cogito preparing us into another potential 100% upwards, which is going to be a potential, easy 2x on any investment. I hope that is making sense to everybody here today. Because for me, in my own opinion, I think it's just necessary, right? That we just have to do this, and that everyone begin to learn what now to take advantage of the tokenomics that we're having within this space, right? Now that is it on the chart. Let's see coming back there, right? We are going to be looking at the practicality of the hourly time frames. Very, very important. But of course, can you just join me? We want to do a walkthrough, continue the entirety of our discussion into what Cogito is, basically offering a very, very simple way of understanding it, right? Come on, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Now, tracer coins. Now, we explained it all the time that in the world of stable coins, the one we already used to. All of the stable coins are sort of backed with the United States dollars in a way. Now, if you're not aware that there's a particular, I am aware of that, right? There's a particular, strategy or some formation that is ongoing currently that is leading towards de-dollarization, which is the removing of the dollar rate or the dollar peg, and it is a agenda that is already making rounds within the international market. Now, that aside, you begin to see why it's important for us to know if and how Cogito might, basically be taking the important lead, right? So now I hope we're together on the same page. Now having a coin, all right, or having a protocol that can actually allow us to have our stables without it being depending on the dollar is something so sweet. Jokes apart. Now come to think of it, just imagine that the entire dollar would totally de-dollarize. What would be the fate of crypto? I mean, what would be the fate of stable coins? It's just be as though what we've been doing all along is just a funny joke, right? And that's something that I think Cogito Protocol is essentially solving within this space. Now, Cogito offers stablecoin as a service. Now, think of the software as a services that you use, right? The ones that actually, make you enjoy the service, but of course, it's just a software, right? It just makes you, sit at the very top of making the most of that particular solution while you're not having a handy practicality of building it from scratch, right? It's because you just leverage on that ecosystem offers you. I hope this is making sense to someone. So just think of that protocol like Cogito, which is going to be allowing you to have USDC not because it's depending on dollar. I mean, just think of that. So because of the possibility of tracer coins, it's so funny, right? Because it is essentially interesting to watch that happen right in a very, very days. It's a great time to really be alive. I'm saying this. The tracer coins, meanwhile, you can actually buy Cogito CGV token on what's it called in Gitcoin, right? Very, very important. Now, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because some of us miss, and might, in fact, possibly myself inclusive, miss Ajax, right? Ajax is singularity net, and earlier this year, Ajax, of course, which is heavily backing, Cogito, as you can see, the rated power of singularity net. Ajax essentially did something. Ajax pumped about 1,500% this year. I mean, it went about. I mean, now what we're saying about first about earning of the token, no, but I'm saying that that's also part of the whole thing, right? That is part of the whole gameplay. That in the long run, while you're becoming a part of the whole protocol and you're learning about the solution that these protocols are deploying, you also want to earn, isn't it? Yeah, that's the truth. So that is something that I think we all want to take advantage of, and I think we all are really, really sitting at a critical historical point where we want to look at how Cogito is going to be the lead, right? And I think it's something we all want to do. So come on, can we just get going? What we're saying, right? Yeah, let's just get going. Now, yeah, let's just continue. Now look at this. Cogito offers a stablecoin as a service framework that creates digital assets with low volatility called treasury coins. Now, the fact is, creating a digital stablecoins requires a lot of volatility. Now, what a lot of volatility is, you have to lock in literally equal amount of that fund. USDT is literally backed. I mean, now it is pegged. That's the word. The USDT is pegged in a 1:1 of the United States dollars, and by pegging, it's just like you're having the dollar in on the blockchain. I mean, there is a funding, right? I don't know how I can explain that and that, just like the funding, which makes it commonized as USD to each and every one of us, isn't it? Now, come to think of this, tracer coins maintain their stability not by seeking explicit correlation to one or more specific, you know, you know, fiat currencies or commodities, but instead they are soft pegging to non-financial indices that represents progress along various developmental fronts, e.g., environmental progress, technological progress. So we're going to make it very simple. Here is the simplicity. Now, now you want to think of let me look at something that's going to be very practical before we're still going back to the chat. Don't forget, we are discussing the chat all along today. All along, all along. Now, it's important for me to say that we're discussing the chat all along today. Now, think of you being, desiring to, let's say you want to make, can you hear me very well? Yeah, I want to be so sure that you all can hear me and that we're on essentially the same page, right? Now, think of you wanting to make something like, now, think think of you wanting to make I'm trying to say, I don't want to say marshmallow, or okay, that's better pure, that's better pure. Okay, let's say you want to make um, I'm looking at burgers, something that is like a food, right? And you actually already have a pre-prepared egg, something like a pre-prepared medium, right, to make the whole thing seamless. And which one will actually be easier and cost effective? The one that you have to go all along to the market to get the necessary recipes to making, like, I mean, than the one you just have to just get the pre-ordered fashion. Like, for example, let's say you want to make it. This is a good example. Let's say you need something like a tomato paste, right? Tomato paste, right? Tomato paste. They sell some of these, like in Africa, you can get them. Like, let's say ketchup, and then you went to the markets and then you buy raw tomato, and then you begin to blend them and begin to do whatever you have to do to them, add additives and make something out of it, right? Just because you want to make something that looks like ketchup. That was going to be looking like a very, very add. Number one is going to be quite hard. Number two, it's going to cost time. Number three is going to cost money. The transportation fare of going to and from making this entire possibility. But now, think of you being able to come up with something that, and of course, it's now think of you even able to come up with something that is like a pre-prepared egg. Like, you have every recipe delivered to you at home for making the ketchup, and you only have to just mix, and that's all. Now, even though that looks so far out of the box, now just think of the ease that differentiates both processes I just explained. The truth is this: you know, tracer coins, right, is making, the possibility of having stable coins achieve or sustain their stability with low volatility. All right, and that's something that is very, very applaudable. Now, the truth is this: we are having a lot of issues ongoing even within the crypto space. Now, even though we have solutions that have been deployed, yet there's the issues that are still making the space lag behind. Think of the issues that are to break down the what do you call this now, the UST, right, the stable coin of Terra ecosystem. That was because, not just only because of the continuous, because the algorithmic sustenance, I mean, that's something funny, the algorithmic sustenance of the UST token was directly pegged to the continuous production of, I think, Terra, I mean, Luna token. And as Luna is being produced, there's a sort of bonding mechanism that actually sustain UST. But because there was a breach, all right, that sort of has some back end. I'm not sure, but of course, I think that's what happened. That was exactly somewhere around Q3, or yeah, I think Q3, Q2, Q3 2022 last year. Now, that made Terra to keep getting more produced, right? And that's more produced. USD is crashing and it's not going to be keeping, because someone back end is withdrawing. All right, there's an outflow of the dollars, sort of, and that made the whole thing crash. And the DeFi ecosystem was going to be exploding because of all of that. Now, think of so much solution. Now think of so much solution that what do you call this? Think of so much solution that you know position of authority, while you see having so much solution in the hands of the users. Come on, let's go back to the chat, which is something very, very important. Because before you even go back to the chat, come join me. Cogito can be gotten on different platforms. I mean, it is currently having the opportunity where you get different blockchain. That's what I'm trying to refer to. You have the Ethereum blockchain. I'm so sure, but I'm so sure of the Binance matching. All right, I think because I think it's pancake swap. I'm saying the right way. And yes, all right, so I mean, it's made basically a BSC token, so you can only get the BSC token. I mean, on Binance Smart Chain, this the chain for Cogito Protocol is BSC. That's Binance Smart Chain, and here you can easily toggle over without you going to the answer of your other smart contract your wallet and buy Cogito, buy CGV. If you miss Agix, I mean CGV is the next thing you want to buy, right? It's very very important. So yeah, why not if not? Now let's check the because it was listed this year. I think it's going to be going another 20x easily. Now, why do I say 20x? Come to think of it. Now, come to think of it. There are important solutions that Cogito is deploying. Let me show you something. AI is there, of course, right? Web3 is there, of course, from the explanation we have made, right? And that's something very important. And of course, stablecoin solutions are also there, right? That's something. Now, look at this. Look at this. The total supply of the token is just 1 billion, right? Sorry, just carefully look at what we're saying. And then the all-time low was just some 57 or 59% behind. Now, you might not know how big that is to us. Come, let me open another coin market cap tab and show you Agix. I think if you see Agix, you understand why we're making this technical analysis on Cogito, isn't it? You understand why? You understand why? Now, very, 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 very important, isn't it? Very important. Now, look at this. I want to show you Agix because that's a the protocol, the AI protocol backing that's Singularity Net, the AI protocol backing you know Cogito, right? And I think it is very very important that now Agix is is sustained, right? It's stable. What I mean stable, I mean it's been very 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 renowned, right, in the market in this whole while. I'm telling you, in this whole while, in this long time. All right, now. All right. Now, I can know how much that's going to be. I'm looking at the perspective of the investment and why the tech, because the whole reason for technical analysis is to know where to invest and to be an early user, right? That's important. Now, the truth is, Cogito has only done some 59% away from the all-time low. It's not anywhere far, right? And I think it's something very, very great to actually buy into because now in 2020, when IG was just launched around that time of Q1, that's in March 13, as you can see the exact date and time, the exact date and then time I mean years, 3 years ago, that Agix was in the market. A lot of people were having uncertainties about it. I'm telling you, but definitely now everyone's already beginning to see more clearly that Agix is clearly bullish, and everyone, even myself inclusive, have done analysis on Agix with the possibility of getting to a dollar per Agix, and that's something we're going to be seeing. Come to think of it, now come back to Cogito, which is of course basically having a couple of zeros to close. I mean one and there's 1 0, then there's another one. They definitely have some issues with the stablecoin system, but it just had pegged 1:1. So if the dollar is excised out of the market, I mean, if you purge the liquidities of the dollar, then you have the stablecoin increasingly going down, and that's something sort of autonomous, in my opinion. So the thing is, come back to now you can see how this is carefully playing out. We've not even ended the session where we're seeing this whole thing playing out, right? That's something to tell you that hey, it's about technical analysis. You've got to just ensure you're following argue right on the space because it's important for us to say this, right? This is telling us that Cogito is only having maybe between today because this is a daily time frame, right? No, it's a daily time frame. I'm going to use my ruler to measure something very important, right? Yes. Now, I'm saying Cogito only has about 14% to mitigate, and afterwards, you're going to be saying a boom, boom, boom. A boom. I mean, a hop, a up move, a very, very upward move, a upward move, right? A very, very upward move. And I think it's important for you all not to actually take chances, right, with Cogito, right? This is the time you want to do that, right? Even myself, even if it's going to be a $10, start somewhere, get over to, IO, use the sign up link below, and then start trading. I mean, if you invest with like, I mean, fund your account with $50, you're gonna be getting a 40% rebate of trading fees. It's something to really start your own trading experience. Of course, you just have to start someday, start today, and start right now. Don't wait for time to pass. Don't wait. I mean, this is the time to really start. Q3 is time for investment. I've told people over and over again, and that Q3 is really beginning so fast and it's going to be ending. All right. So I mean, it's important for us to see that, right? So come on, let's continue in our analysis. I want to check the 4 hourly time frame. Very, very important because that's a lot of time frame actually basically check. And afterwards, we'll get back to the white paper of Cogito and prepare to wrap things up. Now, look at this. This is a 4 hour time frame, and what I'm saying there, sorry, I'm going to remove that drawing, which for me is not necessary. Yeah, come on. Now this is Cogito. We're having reasons to come down. Now I want to show you something important, right? Now this particular point here is not only a very strong point, right? We're not having a bullish order block there, but we're having a reactive zone there, a very reactive zone. When I mean reactive zone, I mean a very strong point where the market will definitely get to react. The market might definitely break. Now the truth is becoming more and more obvious for me now with this lower time frame I'm using. The market might break down one Cogito a little bit more, maybe 14%, I mean 10%. When it gets to somewhere around these zones between 0.05 and 0.045, you would be surprised to see Cogito getting to a higher point, right? I mean, it's just boom, boom, boom. And I hope that makes sense to you, right? Because it does to me, and that's the truth. That's the truth, because when you're thinking about that project will not outdo itself, that is the time it actually outdoes itself. It goes more crazy. I'm serious. Now think of Cogito entering $1. Buying $50 of Cogito right away on Gate IO will only cost you just a sign up. That's how when you fund your account and you start the whole thing. Now I want to drop something in the chat box, and I hope you are watching that right away. Yeah, what I want to drop. It does replicate. And that's a shout out to Get IO for making that available. Yeah, I'll activate it and send it in the chat room, right? Yeah. Yeah, a minute. We're gonna be having that, Okay, okay, okay. All right. So I'll be dropping the code so you all can actually basically. Okay. I want to just drop the right packet just a minute, and that's what I want to do right away because I think it's already getting to the top of the hour and the time is really ticking. Meanwhile, if you have any question about Cogito token, let me know in the chat box. I definitely will attend to that very very quick. Okay. Yeah, I want to attend to that very, very quick if you have any question for me. All right. All right. So yeah, let's get to the packet, folks. Yep. All right. So yeah, let's get you. Let's say let's see. Come on. Okay. Let's see how we can actually make this the most. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Yep. A random pass. Okay. Let's see. Okay, but maybe we just have to just continue because of our time, so we don't actually delay anyone. But of course, I think the code in the packet was sent to the chat box. Of course, just following, and thank you for following and being a part of this. Right. So now, of course, the Cogito token is struggling with this particular point here, but much more than the point here, it is struggling with. All right. I want you to be aware of something very, very important, which is the fact that it is it is essentially finding every reason to come a little bit lower, right? Now it's something very very important, right, for us to stay, right? That Cogito is okay. Let's make this 0.01. I mean, there's something up for grabs in the chat box, and don't forget. Cool. It's been a saint. Thank you so much, and that's beautiful. All right, so that's shout out to Gator Ayo, and it's beautiful. If you don't know what this is about, right? Those of you on YouTube, you can definitely know what. Click the link below and give me a following, and when you give me a following right on Gator Ayo, or we have the next session, you can actually be a part of the red packet. It's an airdrop because it's in dollars. So thank you also for coming. Now, can we just continue what we're saying? Now, this is Cogito, and the Cogito protocol is that protocol that is making stablecoins achieve its destiny. In the simple term, Cogito is making stablecoin attain real life stability. That's a simple summary, right? Cogito is making stablecoins attain real life stability, and that's something that we're really watching Cogito do in its own way, right? And in a way that is very very phenomenal. It's very very different, and that's the use of the tracer coins. And like I had explained right here, tracer coins maintain their stability not by seeking explicit correlation to one or more specific fiat currency. They're not going to be fixed, right, in a way to the United States dollars or euro or the Great Britain pound or Canadian dollar, but instead through soft pegging to non-financial indices that represent progress along various developmental frame. So I think it's important. Hey, thank you, God, for saying that. I'm saying that's something that you want to see, right? It's in a very, very beautiful way. And this is basically sort of a little bit, I don't know, I think it is like an algorithmic, I think like a schematic explanation of how treasure coins basically work now. We have, for example, this is J-coin. It is a product of, tracking the index of the grain. Now, this is how it's come about. Now you're having, data layer, of course, which is going to be getting into combination with AI tool layer. Now you have the data layer, right? Number one, and the data sources actually come from for this green coin, right? This G coin. The data source for G coin comes from the World Bank, United Nations institutions, and etc. Of course. And then the data coverage covers multiple indicators, measuring the environmental progress, right? Because don't forget the coin we're launching is G green. Of course, when you think of green, think of climate, think of sustainability of humanity, and then that's something that Gcoin is going to be about. Definitely, when you're having such a coin like Gcoin wants to be formed, it's going to be a product of these data sources, right? Where we can actually have a total grasp on what can influence the a green climate, a greenhouse, a green anything green, right? I mean, as far as humanity is concerned, then you have an AI tool or like this. I mean, that the example you're having there that integrates data and aggregates to a weighted average to quantify the progress on improving the environment. So this AI tool layer integrates this data, of course, forms an aggregate that gives a weighted average to quantify the progress on improving the environment. And of course, so with that, we have the GI, which is the green index. And of course, this tracks positive progress towards net zero economy. I mean, approximately 1 to 2% volatility. And that's something very, very sweet. And then you have the G coin. So the G coin is going to be tracing the green index on a 1:1 basis. And that's the first tracer coin serving as an alternative stablecoin. That's something we have to really take note of. That is making the entire space, very, very interesting. And I don't know if you really understand that. As we are going to be bringing this entire presentation to maybe like a close, and I hope you all are having one of those things to really learn from what we are really saying. Now, can we just continue to learn how Cogito works so that we can, yeah, basically be on the same page, right? Because I think it's important, right, in my opinion, that we just have to essentially, do this. It's a technical analysis, and of course, it's a technical talk. That's why we're going through all of this. This is how Cogito works. It's working based on this three, I will call it a tripod stance of Cogito, and that's something I want you to take note of. The tripod stance of Cogito seem to be working on the first, the index creation, the second, the peg mechanism, the third, the active treasury management, which I think also makes things interesting for us to understand how Cogito works. Now, there's something number one very important, which is first the index creation. Here you have the constructed use, I mean the constructed using of a large third party data, right? I want you to note something very, very important, right? I mean, the index also is also created using Singularity Net AI, smooth and stable output. You see now Singularity Net is also getting here into the whole gameplay and the whole show, right, of the Cogito token, right? I don't know if you've seen that, right? Because it's also very, very important that we put that possibility within, Cogito, right? Yes. Now, it is the fact that there's a way it makes matter easier for anyone that is going to be joining the that and for any token that will be launched. All right, since the whole place of getting this data is not somewhere from its own brain, permit me to put it that way, but it's going to be leveraging some data layers, like we have the example here. I mean, basically, there's going to be an AI layer, and of course a data layer. So both layers form the index, right? There's an AI layer forming the index, there's a data layer forming the index. Both are essentially very, very important for us to watch what Cogito, right, in its own way, is going to be. And I don't know if you really understand what we're talking about. Secondly, what we're saying in a nutshell is the fact that Cogito is, becoming that which people are really going to be learning from, right? I mean, learning from. I mean, a lot of projects are going to be coming about saying, okay, so fine, we don't need to actually lock USC in a 1-to-1 ratio to have a stable coin. So Cogito is really leading. That's something I want to take note of, right? Right, very, very important. Cogito is leading the round, all right, for an evolutionary possibility with USDC. And I want to write that in the chat box. Very, 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 very important, because that is one of the things that you're going to be standing as a chance to, gain, right, if you're part of the early users of Cogito protocol. I want to write that in the chat box so we can all be on the same page. So, like we are saying, and I hope you all can hear me, that's something very, very important. I just want to type in the chat box because of our time. Now, come on. Yep, we're almost done. Yes, you have this also, which is the place of the peg mechanism. So the index creation is sort of a three-pointed index creation. You have it constructed using the index creation is constructed using a large third-party data set. Oftentimes, that's how it comes about, right? I don't know if you remember the index here, the G index. I mean, the green index, which is a formation of the data layer, because and the AI layer, and the data sources comes from the World Bank. And of course, you have those examples here, right? Very, very simple. So there must be this index, right? The index necessarily helps us to peg. So what's this token that is lying? Possibly they're going to be getting data from the European Union, from the European countries, from the different news outlets, and then we have the data. Right, you have getting data from the forex, let's say from forex factory, from different let's say different institutions, right? And then when we have those ones, by the way, then we can be so sure that when we are going to be making the index, we have enough data supply. So that's where the data comes from, constructed using a large data set, third party data set. Now, of course, the AI tool used here is the Singularity Net. That's AI layer, right? Because it's going to be helping for smooth and stable output. Then there's an incentivized community governance for index adjustment. So that's all that goes into making. We're going to be calling that EU index, EUR index. And then when it comes to the pegging, there are 2 points there. You have the dynamics incentives, which helps to adjust circulating supply, and of course, there is an open market operation using artificial intelligence techniques for price prediction and market arbitrage. So that's something, because sometimes we have a little bit of difference in price, right? Like for example, we get over to US DC, like for example, USDC, it might be trading at 0.995 or 998, and USDT is 1.012. Now, that looks as if it's not $1, but $1. The thing is just that the way the pegging mechanism works with is a sort of dynamic model, right? And so also when it comes to the provision of the peg mechanism that's Cogito Protocol employs, it's going to be leveraging the index, right? The AI information, the whole fluidity of the index, right? It's going to be leveraging on this to form the peg, and when the peg is formed because of these dynamic incentives, which is going to be helping supply on the open market operation with the AI help, then you have the peg. So the coin that's the assumed coin we're talking about, which is the euro coin, is going to be pegged at the ratio at the exact ratio with EUR. Very, very important. Now you're having something we want to deal with, the active treasury management. The active treasury management. So we're going to be going through that, right? And then we're going to be wrapping things up. Please, any question from me, I'm going to be checking the chat box. I'm going through that because my phone is also in my hand, and that's what I'm going to be doing all along. Come on, let's check that. Hmm. Okay. Yes, what do we have? Yes, we are having something great. Active treasury management. Now, the reserve management to generate a right yield that matches the movement of the indexes. All right, is one part of the active treasury management because this active treasury management also ensure the protocol to be fully redeemable, right? And that's something interesting. So I don't know if you're aware of all of these, but because the essence of this, discourse is just to show you from the fundamental perspective how Cogito, right, protocol operates in making the possibility and the provision of stablecoins are not pegged directly to a fiat or a commodity, but of course how they are pegged to some sort of index that leverages data and of course an AI layer. That's something sweet for us to learn. I think we'll learn that. So there's a lot to learn. So what we call this right away again, CGV is a lot to learn, and I think because of the absence of long time, I want to just show you something interesting about yeah, because the place of risk management is one of the important thing that defines stable coins. It's like in the example I cited from the peg of USD, which is the default I think that's a word stable coin of Luna. It sort of proves that this protocol sort of majorly sits on DeFi and will not basically have some other layers of onboarding or cushioning the exposures of the users fund to such volatility craze, right? And that's a proof that some necessary risk management is not onboarded, right? And that's something. This is something that Cogito clearly has in mind and actually has made provision about. Cogito applies the highest standards of risk management schedules to ensure compliance with all applicable regulatory requirements to safeguard users' access properly and adequately and to promote the best interests of users and the integrity of the market. Now, these are security risk, counterparty risk, regulatory risk, and operating risk. Now, all of those risks are definitely in space, but of course, I'm coming back here because as an analyst, I'm going to be showing something about the market. That this is time for you to begin to buy digital. I want you to set your buy price here. Don't forget when an uptrend, the general crypto market, of course, Cogito is one. Right, I'm going to be showing you that this is time for you to do this. Let me turn over the time to a 1 4 hour time frame. Yep, sorry. Yep. So I think it's something we want to really take note of. Yeah, that's something. And you see the market's crazily going downward. All right, that's it. That's something. So now all of these possibilities are as following our prediction. It's not just a magic. It's based on technical analysis and it's very very simple. You just have to ensure that you're part of the you're in a company, that make company and an association. This can help you in learning, and that's why I'm inviting you to get IO today. Don't take your chances. Come on, just come right away. Yeah, it's important for you to do right. That's the truth. So come on. I think that's basically going to be it on Cogito Protocol. Well, we also come through the Explorer, and I'm going to be showing you one or two things, right? Now, here you go. There were 2,000 over there, more than 2,000 addresses being found on Cogito. If you're unaware, it's a lot of that, and and I mean the token supply right in this particular um, you know Explorer is sitting at 900 million Cogito tokens. Right? Don't forget, the market supply is a billion. So what do you have again? Now, people is beginning to buy Cogito, right? Let's say we say you want to buy Cogito. Simple thing you have to do is just you have to get an eye, right? Just toggle over to the link, right, in the description. Click the link, and then you get to the sign up page. Sign up. When you sign up, you'll be able to head over to the spot session. Essentially, after you've deposited with your Mastercard or you deposit with a peer-to-peer option that you have in Get IO, and then you start trading. Just get over to Get IO, like you want to get on your phone, like I'm holding mine, and then you just get over to the midpoint, and then you click on trade because there are like 5 bars for those who are using Android. You would find 5 bar home trade futures, moments, and wallet. So if you want to join the live stream, you've got to check moments, right? Very very important, right? That's what you want to join the live stream. But if it's about you wanting to make a trade, just click on trade and you'll see the tokens peer and peer F5, FYN, USDT, GT, USDT, that's get token USDT, BTC USDT, and of course CVC, GV. That's a token, right? And then you have it right here. can always buy it at your buy price. I hope that really makes sense. And I hope everyone's taking one or two things really take as their own learning, right, for the day, right? So something. So let's say you want to, like I want to explain, buy CGV on Gate.io, and you want to put, let's say you want to hold 1,000 CGV, only costs you a couple of bucks, not too much, $61. Of course, if you're holding 1,000 CGV, I think it's a very great thing to do. Myself, I'm thinking of that, and I would trust that I would want to get on that because, like, just if you see every comment you're having, it's Cogito is developing a safer AI powered vision for stablecoins. I mean, so this is a super project that is now built 100 times. So yeah, it's everything else is totally do it 10x because the current in market cap is just 61 million, and that's every reason to be trading at 6 billion. If it gets to $6 billion, that's the fully diluted market cap, that's going to be a multiple of 100x, right? That's the truth. So it's $61,000 investment, 100, right? I mean, that's 61 times 100, like 6,100, right? Yeah, so that's the cool thing, right? And that's something very, very easily achievable with Cogito. What do you think in the chat box? Let me know. I think we have come to the climax of explaining and making discussion and making references to Cogito. Meanwhile, if you want to find the team, you've got to get over to the community tab here and then check on Twitter. You can actually find them on Twitter and of course on the chat, which is of course I think Telegram, where you can be having a link to joining the over 10,000 members of Cogito on here believing in the project. So having over 41K people actually, having Cogito in as a platform they can follow, then I think you can also begin to follow this same project. So come on, what do you think? I think it's high time everyone of us begin to think of what Cogito. You can set the buy price right, and I explained 0 point. That's the price I called 0.51020. So thank you so much for coming, and I hope you all have learned one or two things again in today's session. So, anything for me? Any question for me? Anything for me? Come on. Anything for me? Anything for me? Bitcoin's not 30,610. I tell you, when Cogito gets that buy price 0.051, don't miss out on it. Please buy it. Cogito. All right. Thank you. No question. Are there any question? Well, it's already done for today. And I want to say thank you so much for coming. And I hope you all have learned one or two things from Cogito Protocol and the entire gameplay that it's basically on board, right? So, yeah, I think it's just also necessary for us to have that discussion. And we have made the most, all right, impact on how Cogito can actually make the market. Meanwhile, before we end the market, I want to show you AGIX once again so you can see that these are tokens that are really of great importance. So if you have missed AGIX, this AGIX, right? All right, you can find AGIX USDT also on Gate.io. If you want to buy AGIX, of course, that's you can find AGIX. But of course, this is Gate.io. This is Cogito. Don't hesitate to get on Cogito. Please take care of yourself. We may take it some other time.